Welcome to BadFiction. She is made of cake. The duvet's tucked beneath her, sealing her away from him, but he finds his way through. "I need you to help me," she says. "Stop bringing things home from work. The house is full of sugar. If it's there, I'll eat it." "I've got my hiding places." "I found your stash." "You didn't." "Chocolate-covered pretzels." "Cheeky bitch." "I'm serious." Another kiss. The same shoulder. Teeth touch skin. Hands spread across her like butter. "I want you," he says, breathing mint toothpaste into her ear. He's lying, obviously. He's keeping himself awake, saying these things right now because he's a good person and because he wants her to know it and because she is a terrible person for wanting him to stop. A cry shivers across them from the other room. Baby is hungry. "You can turn on the light," he says, hiding beneath the covers. "It's okay," she says as she slips from them. "Go back to sleep." In the morning, she tips 30 grams of cornflakes into a bowl and leaves them there to wilt while she warms baby's bottle. Her skin itches all over. She must have eaten something. Allergies creep across her like ivy. She scrolls through baby groups and marketplace offerings as she scratches at her leg. When did she start liking these pages? When did potties replace politics? He tickles her behind as he breezes past, reaching for the protein powder. "We need more milk," she says as he empties the bottle into the mixer. He will see other bums at the gym. Arses wrapped in leggings that don't stretch thin at the hips. "I'll pick some way up on the way home," he says over the grind of the motor. Baby starts to cry. He empties the beaker into a glass and drains it in one go. She picks up baby. As she does, he reaches for her. Fingers sink like a foot into wet mud. She is a slack bag of water. She is a deflating balloon. "Delicious," he says, and pokes baby goodbye. She prepares a pot of finger food, rusks, grapes halved and peeled. She packs extra wipes and refreshes the nappy sacks. The bag was a Christmas present. Chloe Kid's her first designer bag. When she opened it, her smile was full and honest and confident and surprised and glowing and pleased with him and excited by the prospect of filling the bag with everything she'd never carried before. "It's got pockets on the inside," he said, pointing at the separate labels for talc and bum cream. "It's got space for everything." "It's brilliant. Thank you, I love it." Her wallet sinks into dog-eared nappies and old receipts. At the cafe, she eats pistachio sponge and checks her phone for distractions. WhatsApp's full of work messages. None of them make sense anymore. They are words without context, jokes consisting only of punchlines, and she's expected to laugh cold turkey. There's a new name in the chat. Her maternity leave cover, Graham. He's full of new ideas. Management are listening. It's very exciting times. She puts her phone away and turns back to the girls. Hattie is telling them she has brought herself a new body pillow. It's like a giant cuddly bear, lets her snuggle all night without bothering Michael. She gets so hot these days, it's impossible for him to sleep. Nobody's listening. They're watching Amy pick snot out of Theo's nose. His podgy arms bat her away, but tears will not stop her. They urge her on. This victory will belong to all of them. Jackie's rooting desperately through her mother care rucksack while the brown patch on Timothy's baby grow continues to spread. "Does anyone have spare wipes?" The itching is driving her mad by the time she gets home. Her fat trembles beneath her skin, burning in all the wrong ways. She drops baby into the rocking chair and switches on the motor. He keeps screaming, but the buzz softens the sound. There has to be a cream in the cupboard, something to take the edge off. The anthisan's empty. It's too late for jungle formula. Whatever's irritating her is already bitten. She downs a double dose of paracetamol and follows it with the final 3 ibuprofen in the packet. Her thighs are on fire. There are ants crawling beneath her skin. She pulls down her leggings without checking to see if the kitchen blinds are drawn and lets her fingernails run free across her thigh. She is scratching burned food from the pan. She is rubbing the foil from a lottery card. She is peeling paper from the walls. Something catches a blackhead, a lump, and ingrowing hair. That's a spot right there. She flicks at the head with a nail, picking, plucking, hooking, trying to pry the foreign body free from her flesh. This is where the insect bit. This is where the bastard bled her, she thinks. She tries a new angle. Baby's crying again. Damn it. She crouches by the rocking chair, leggings around her ankles, still scratching. Gucci, Gucci, goo, brada-ra-da-ra. The free edge of her nail finds purchase and levers up a plug of skin. It's like popping a cork. It's like a sigh after the deepest of yawns. She strokes baby's head with one hand, fingers the lump loose from the hole with the other. Hush now, baby, hush now, little one. Mama's here, Mama's here. It feels big, really big. It feels big as a marble between finger and thumb as she rolls it back and forth. No, that's ridiculous. She's imagining it. As the over-the-counter painkiller's interacting with something she had at the cafe, she looks down. The plug of skin is a half-inch across. It's a half-inch deep. A pristine circle the size and shape of a cap from the bottle of vanilla essence. She rolls it between her fingers like a lump of Play-Doh. How did it find its way into her leggings? But this is not a lump of Play-Doh. Halfway down her thigh, there's a matching hole, just right of centre, a half-inch across. A half-inch deep. There's no blood. The skin drops down crisply like it's been cut by a tiny cookie cutter right down to the subcutaneous fat. The hole is clean, the hole is dry, right down to the subcutaneous fat. There is no subcutaneous fat. She covers it with her hand. She must be seeing things. No. Her underflesh is a delicate golden brown. It has the pock-marked texture of sponge cake. No. She pokes a finger inside, sliding it beneath the skin, pulling it away from the numbness underneath. No. She pushes down her panic and tries to refit the plug, but the skin has shrunk back from the opening like water from the shore. The puck of flesh rattles around the rim with room to spare, swirling like a spirograph. She loosens her grip, drops it, and it skitters out of sight. Her leg is nothing but cake and loose skin. She needs something to fill the hole. Infection could set in any moment. She stands, relieved that her leg still works fine. She claws at the medicine cupboard and discovers they are all out of bandages, or they never had any bandages. She could rip up an old shirt like they do on TV and use that to bind the wound. Would that work? Would it last until she reached the hospital? Would it be enough to soak up all the blood? There's no blood, she reminds herself. I'm made of cake, she says, as if by articulating the ridiculous she can banish it. At least her baby is quiet. Her leggings are still around her ankles and she does not care. She waddles to the larder. Cling film? Out. Tin foil? It slips from her leg with nothing to stick to. I'm made of cake. I'm made of cake. I'm made of cake. She needs something sterile. She needs something now. Who knows what could happen if she leaves it uncovered? There is a sealed slab of marzipan on the top shelf, left over from Christmas. At least it's sterile. She rips open the packet. I'm made of cake. She rolls out a ball and flattens it in the palm of her hand and squashes it in. It fits like a puzzle piece. She presses down at the edges, ensuring a good seal. Only has to last until she gets to hospital, she tells herself. She pulls up her leggings, hauls her bag onto her shoulder and picks up baby. She's still holding the packet of marzipan when she gets to the door. It opens before she can reach for the handle. He steps inside before she can escape. He starts talking before she can explain what has happened. "You would not believe the day I've had," as he drops down his bag. "It's been non-stop," as he takes off his coat. "Absolute chaos," as he pries off his shoes. He reaches for the packet in her hand and pulls himself off a nub to pop into his mouth. Chews. Delicious. Kissing baby. He strolls through to the other room and lands himself on the couch with a sigh. She holds the door in her hand. Baby in the other arm. "I'm made of cake," she says. He's turned on the television. "Huh?" She holds the door with one arm. Baby in the other. The door in one arm. Baby in the other. She shuts the door. It is a long and slow evening. The TV is on downstairs. Baby is fed and finally asleep. The nursery smells of white chocolate. She sits in the feeding chair and strokes her leg. The patch feels beautifully smooth beneath her leggings. There's a chance she imagined it. There's a chance she's not imagining it. She's not sure which one is worse. Baby takes short, sharp breaths. There's a staggered inhale and then a gentle sigh. She's under a lot of stress. These things are normal. It's just her imagination resisting the atrophy of motherhood. But still, she has to check. She makes her way to the bathroom and blinds herself with the light. She locks the door and sits on the throne. In the harsh brightness of LED spotlight, she can see where the marzipan has fused with her skin. There are tiny pores in its pinky fleshness. It looks just like real skin, but she can still make out the edges. She picks at them, and they peel upward. She pulls and the plug comes loose. She presses it down immediately and smooths it. That night, he wants to make love. She's too scared to let him, too scared to disappoint him. She finishes him with her hands and he falls asleep. Later, she'll touch herself in the hours between feeds, one hand between her legs, the other stroking the patch on her thigh. Baby doesn't wake until late the next morning. She stays in bed while the husband clatters in the kitchen, only emerging after she hears the front door click shut. Baby hasn't woken since his feed last night, slept right through, and it's the first time for everything. She listens to its breathing in the doorway and wonders how long can a baby sleep before you should start to get worried. How much sleep is too much sleep? She goes downstairs and tips yesterday's cornflakes into the bin. She takes out the baby's bottle from the sterilizer, rinses them under the tap and leaves them to dry on the draining board. She sits at the kitchen table and her dressing gown falls away from her thigh. It's still there, the patch of pristine marzipan skin. She was not dreaming. When she picks at it this time, it tears a strip 2 inches wide and it still doesn't hurt. She pulls it until 6 inches come away, skin on one side, almond paste the other. There are flecks of sponge on the underside where it has been pulled from the flesh. She picks at it, squeezes the crumb between 2 fingers and pops it in her mouth. Vanilla. Baby is awake. She leaves the skin on the kitchen table and heads upstairs. I'm made of cake, she thinks as she lifts baby from the cot and goes downstairs again. There's a strip of ordinary marzipan on the kitchen table. She checks the wound on her thigh, still there. Golden brown insides glow in the morning light. She warms baby's bottle, and when she comes back to the table, the marzipan's gone. There are crumbs caught on baby's sticky fingers. She swears again, expletives spill from her like flour. Baby giggles and speaks. Mama! She stops swearing. Mama! Again. It is her first taste of language, soft and gentle as vanilla sponge. "Yes," she says, lifting him up. "It's Mama. Mama, good boy." Before lunch, she takes the stroller to the shops and fills its carrier with goods from the baking section. It's a struggle to push the thing back up the hill. Baby gurgles the whole way. "Mama, Mama." When they get home, the skin comes away easily. A knife carves away the flesh in layers. She thins her legs, hauls huge chunks from her belly, and skims her arm like skimming cream from milk. She covers herself with fresh marzipan rolled flat on the kitchen table. A healthy portion of apricot jam helps it stick. She eats as she goes, sharing the offcuts with baby. Before she got pregnant, she promised herself she would never feed her child sugar. Now his belly is distended from her own discarded body parts. He dozes in his chair as she works, rewarding her with dulcet murmurs and half-formed pseudo-words whenever he wakes, sticky and delicious. They giggle and gurn at each other, mouths full. When her husband arrives home from work, she wastes no time. She drags him upstairs and pulls the clothes from him like peel from an orange. His work-weary scent fills the room, but she does not care. She has something to show him. After, he asks her where that came from, and she smiles. "I've had a good day." His hand slips over her new curves. He nibbles at her shoulder and murmurs, "You smell wonderful." The next morning, she kisses him goodbye at the door, long and lingering. She throws away yesterday's cornflakes and pours herself a new bowl, leaves it on the side. Baby's awake, giggling in his high chair. They are laughing again on WhatsApp. She flicks through the feeds instead. Someone across the street is selling a Fisher-Price activity disc. She doesn't need him. She'll buy one new. She scrolls past and forgets. The machine beeps, letting her know his bottle is warm, but he won't take it this morning. "Open up, silly one," she urges as he rasps away the rubber nipple. It isn't long before she gives up. A gentle stroke to his cheek. "What am I going to do with you now?" she says. "You've got to eat something." He catches her hand with his fat little fingers. Tiny nails pinch into her skin. "Mama." The marzipan comes away in clumps. She smiles. She's become Mama, his Mama. "Good boy," she says. His hand mushes against his mouth. Her love is on his lips, glistening sweet. Her name is on his tongue. You've been listening to Cake, a fiction written and read by Ollie Francis. To find out more and to sign up for the newsletter, visit olliefrancis.co.uk. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time for more bad fiction.